Well, I would say sort of airbrushing, really, of Prince Harry, who shuffled in with the only royals still talking to him, Beatrice and Eugenia.
Imagine being born into royalty, only to grow up with no castle, no title, not even a seat at the table. That's not a fairy tale. That's the real-life plot twist now unfolding around Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children, Archie and Lilibet. Because according to a leaked royal directive, King Charles III just made a decision that sent shockwaves through Buckingham and lit a fuse under Harry. It's not just drama. It's a generational power move, the kind that rewrites royal history in real time. But why now? And what does this really mean for the future of the monarchy? Let's break down exactly what's happening and why this isn't just another royal headline. This is the beginning of a royal fallout that could split the family forever. King Charles III has reportedly made a quiet but seismic move. Archie and Lilibet will no longer be granted their royal titles. Not just not yet, not will revisit it. Gone, for good. No HRH, no prince, no princess. And while Buckingham Palace hasn't publicly confirmed it, insiders say the decision has already been set in motion behind the scenes. Now here's where this gets complicated. According to the 1917 letters patent, the dusty royal rulebook, only the children of the monarch and the male line grandchildren are entitled to royal titles. That meant Archie and Lilibet were technically eligible once Charles became king. And under Queen Elizabeth II, she actually bent the rules in 2012 so that all of William's children could receive titles. That move opened the door for Harry's kids.
That jaw-dropping interview that has everyone scratching their heads, why some sources fear Prince Harry.
But King Charles? He just slammed it shut. Royal watchers are calling it part of his monarchy slim down. A plan to cut costs, streamline the family, focus on the direct line. But let's be honest, when you erase the only biracial grandchildren from the royal registry, after years of tabloid firestorms, racism allegations, and family feuds, that doesn't just look like efficiency. It looks like exclusion, especially when it comes 2 days after Harry announces his new tell-all book. And a week after Meghan dropped a podcast episode about royal labels. Coincidence? Come on, even the Queen's corgis can do that math. This isn't about cutting costs. This is about cutting off.
He revealed over the weekend that he's been cut off by his father, King Charles, again, claiming the monarch won't speak to me. This revelation followed Prince Harry's failed legal appeal over his security.
And Harry? He didn't just hear the message, he felt it. Here's where the real tension lies. Charles says he wants to modernize the monarchy. But what does that actually mean? Because to the public, this doesn't look like progress. It looks like pettiness wrapped in tradition. Harry and Meghan left royal duties in 2020. Sure, that's public record. But their kids? They didn't step away. They were born away. And now they're being denied titles that other royal children automatically get, simply because of where they live or who their mother is. That's not just a legal loophole. That's a legacy fracture. Because when history looks back, it won't just say King Charles streamlined the monarchy. It'll ask, why did the king of a diverse commonwealth revoke titles from the only biracial children in the line of succession? And that's a question no press release can answer cleanly. This isn't just scandal. This isn't just drama. This is personal. Because King Charles didn't just revise the royal playbook. He redacted his own grandchildren from the script. And Prince Harry? He's not writing a polite email. He's loading up a second memoir. We're talking fury. We're talking strategy. And we're talking a family unraveling in real time. Let's break down how this moment became the breaking point.
So unleashed a series of harsh criticisms directed towards his family. Can I just say that that's what kills me the most, that the soundbite everybody grabbed for this was, I would like to reconcile with...
And why the palace is suddenly very, very quiet. The final blow didn't come with a press conference. It came in whispers, in off-record confirmations, in a leaked memo circulating behind Buckingham walls. No official statement, of course, that's not how the firm operates. But sources close to the palace say the message was clear. Archie and Lilibet will not be granted royal titles, now or ever. No HRH, no ceremonial roles, no security, not even a Lord of Sussex starter pack, just erased. And the trigger? Sources say it was a triple hit. Meghan's latest podcast episode on labels and lineage, Harry's upcoming memoir announcement, and internal concerns that another docuseries might be in the works. The Crown didn't just respond, it struck first. Behind closed doors, Harry was reportedly livid. People close to him say he felt blindsided. That Charles had once promised to revisit the title situation after the Queen's passing. That this was supposed to be temporary. But instead, his kids just became royal ghosts. And Harry? He's not taking this one to the group chat. His team is reportedly reviewing all options. Translation: more leaks, more media appearances, maybe even another primetime sit-down.
That it's taken Prince Harry 40 years to learn the definition of the word consequences, but it was Princess Diana herself. This is my girlfriend, Maureen Callahan, that reminded me of this.
Oprah, Anderson Cooper, maybe both. This isn't just damage control. This is Harry going full offensive. Because when your own father cuts your kids off from their legacy, and the public seems to agree with you, that's a green light for revenge. Now let's talk about Meghan. While Harry vents, Meghan moves, and she's playing it perfectly. No tweets, no callouts, no royal rebuttal, just a few very public appearances, charity events, panels, subtle nods to motherhood, identity, womanhood. But if you listen closely, the subtext is deafening. We don't need the monarchy, we are the brand. This is classic Meghan strategy. No confrontation, just controlled narrative. Let the press speculate. Let the headlines stir. She'll keep showing up in graceful silence while the audience fills in the blanks. And it's working. The public sees a mother, not a duchess, not a diva, just a woman who had her children's futures quietly deleted by a palace that didn't bother to call first. What has Buckingham said? Nothing. And that's not surprising. It's the oldest play in the royal playbook. Say nothing, deny nothing, hope the public forgets. But this time, it's not working. Why? Because the story isn't staying in the tabloids, it's viral.
Well, now in California, the Duchess of Sussex has been making moves and she's hired a brand new chief of staff. Can you imagine needing a chief of staff?
No,
It's like being the president, isn't it?
No. When Aidan said yesterday about having
It's emotional, it's everywhere. Even former palace aides are anonymously confirming the decision. Even pro-royal commentators are struggling to defend it. And Charles? He's not looking like a visionary king. He's looking like a grandfather with a grudge. Let's pause and ask the real question. Is this truly about modernizing the monarchy? Or is this just a polite way to say, if you leave the family, you lose the perks? Because here's what we know. William's kids get full titles. Harry's kids get quietly removed. The only biracial royals in the line of succession are the ones being excluded. That's not streamlining. That's selective succession. And Meghan, she knows how that looks. She doesn't have to say the R word. She doesn't even have to imply it. The public sees it, and they're doing the math themselves. This isn't a family feud anymore. This is war, and not the swords and crowns kind. We're talking PR warfare, fought in headlines, hashtags, and high-stakes exclusives. On one side, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the media-savvy underdogs with Netflix deals, emotional leverage, and global sympathy. On the other, King Charles and the firm, the royal stronghold known for mastering the art of strategic silence and press manipulation. And in the middle, two kids, no titles, no protection, no say.
But he was just expressing the fact that he doesn't know what's wrong with his dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're doing okay as a couple from what I gather.
Well,
Let's break down how both sides are weaponizing the media and why this might be the most important royal chess match in a generation. As soon as the news broke, Team Sussex didn't panic. They activated no public statements, no angry tweets, just strategic visibility. Meghan photographed at a charity event holding Archie's hand. Harry spotted at an airport looking visibly tense. Royal commentators mysteriously start discussing racial bias in succession law. Coincidence? Absolutely not. This was a coordinated narrative rollout because Harry and Meghan aren't just reacting anymore, they're playing offense. And their message? This isn't about titles, it's about our children, our legacy, our truth. Classic Brian move here, turn the pain into the pitch. Here's the cheat code. Harry and Meghan know they can't win by fact-checking the monarchy. So instead they weaponize feelings. Imagine being a child stripped of your identity before you could even write your name. Imagine being denied your birthright because of who your mother is. They're not selling outrage. They're selling empathy. And in 2025, empathy is currency. This is Brian's heart versus crown framework in action. The crown has tradition. Harry has the human story. And for millions of viewers, the winner is obvious. So what's the royal family doing? Exactly what they've always done. Nothing, no comments, no press briefings, just leaks. But if you look closely, the counter strategy is in motion. Royal insiders claim Charles was left with no choice. Experts explain that Meghan never wanted the titles anyway. Prince William is quietly aligned with the decision. The messaging? This isn't personal, it's constitutional. But here's the trap. That defense works technically. It does nothing emotionally. And in the PR battlefield, emotion beats logic every single time.
Period. And I think they explained it as they both decided it wasn't going to quite work. But I think there's also this history of when they were working members of the royal family.
Let's talk about the wild card, Prince William, the responsible brother, the future king, the man who hasn't said a single word, publicly or privately, in his brother's defense. And that silence? It's starting to look less like loyalties and more like strategy. Because every time William stays quiet, Harry looks angrier. And every time Harry gets angrier, William looks stable. It's passive-aggressive genius. Let your brother walk into the fire while you stand next to the extinguisher and just watch. The firm thinks they're protecting the monarchy, but what they're actually doing? Fueling the exact story they've been trying to avoid for years. This family doesn't protect people like Meghan or Archie or Lilibet. Even if the title decision was technically fair, the optics are brutal. All of William's kids get full honors. The biracial kids don't even get the nameplate. And that kind of visual? You can't PR spin your way out of it. Especially when Meghan can counter it with a single photo and the caption, "My baby's always protected." Boom, instant 100K retweets, 200 TikToks, Daily Mail in shambles. You thought Harry was done? That Meghan would just light a sage stick and move on? Nah, because what King Charles just did wasn't just royal policy. It was personal. And now, the Sussexes are done playing nice. We're talking tell-alls, strategic leaks, viral interviews, the kind of revenge campaign that doesn't just clap back. It clocks in. This is the revenge tour, and it's just getting started. Let's rewind real quick. Up until now, there was always this subtle maybe. Maybe the titles would come back. Maybe there'd be a reunion. Maybe Harry and Meghan's kids would still have some royal tether. Not anymore. Charles didn't just shut the door. He bolted it. Sources close to Harry say he was stunned. He truly thought this was a pause, not a permanent erasure. And now, the dream of duality and being both royal and independent is dead. So Harry's doing the only thing he knows how to do when he's cornered. If you thought Spare was revealing, you haven't seen anything yet. Word on the publishing street? And this time, Harry's not holding back. Early whispers say we're about to get a breakdown of the moment Charles cut off Archie and Lilibet. Internal conversations between William and Charles. And an entire chapter on what Harry sees as legacy sabotage. You want titles? Nah. Harry's coming for reputations. He's turning pain into paper. And paper into power? The memoir isn't just a diary. It's a weapon. And Charles just handed him the perfect narrative twist. While Harry reloads, Meghan recalibrates. Because if Harry is the voice, Meghan is the vision. Don't let the polished silence fool you.
So I think that'll be what it'll be about. It'll be about somebody who's got experience of dealing with philanthropy. Of course, the problem with the Sussexes is they need to bring the money in as well.
She's building. Insiders say her team is quietly developing a multimedia comeback, a new docuseries on motherhood, power, and public scrutiny, a children's book sequel about identity and belonging, and a lifestyle brand relaunch aimed at post-royal freedom. Each move? Calculated, emotional, marketable. Meghan doesn't need to rant. She just needs to show up in slow motion, hug her kids, and say one line. We're not royal, we're resilient. Cue Twitter meltdown, cue press cycle, cue another 10 million in brand value. Here's what no one in the palace is ready for. The audience decides who wins this war. Not the monarchy. Not the media. Not even the law. It's the scroll. Who wins TikTok? Who wins Instagram? Who wins the hearts of people who will never set foot near Buckingham? And right now, the public's watching a grandfather erase his grandkids, while the parents stand on camera saying, "We just want them to be seen." That's not monarchy. That's movie script material. And Harry and Meghan, they own the rights. Let's stop pretending this is about royal policy. It's about who gets to belong, who gets protected, who gets written into history, and who gets cut. Archie and Lilibet are the only biracial royals in the entire line of succession. And now they've been formally removed from the spotlight. Even if it's policy, the optics are loud. And Meghan, she's not just their mother, she's now the face of the pushback. Every photo, every speech, every passive-aggressive podcast quote is a reminder. You tried to silence us, and now we own the mic. You know what's louder than a royal statement? Silence. And Prince William? He's turned it into a weapon. While Harry fumes and Meghan spins a global brand out of betrayal, William, the golden child, the polished heir, the next king of England, has said nothing. Not a quote, not a nod, not a staged walk with Kate and the kids. And that silence? It's starting to look less like grace and more like strategy. Because this isn't just a royal rift anymore.
have had a fairly big turnover of staff in the last few years, and also the King has lost quite a few key members of staff who stayed on during the transition after the late Queen's death.
This is a power play. And William? He might be the coldest player of them all. Let's start with what the public sees. William has always been cast as the calm one, the peacemaker, the polished future monarch. The press calls him stoic. The palace calls him stable. And when drama hits, William disappears behind a carefully curated silence. But here's what no one's asking. What if that's not diplomacy? What if that's design? Because when Charles made the decision to cut off Archie and Lilibet's titles, William wasn't just in the room. He was allegedly leading the charge. Let's break this down like a chessboard. Charles wants to slim the monarchy. Harry's a rogue piece, unpredictable, emotional, media-hungry. And William, he's protecting the crown. So what does he do? Endorses the title removal. Backs Charles's streamlining plan. And steps way, way back. Because from a royal standpoint, the more chaotic Harry looks, the more responsible William seems. Let your brother twist in public. Don't intervene. Don't defend. Just wait. The worse Harry looks, the better your throne shines. This is Brian's passive-aggressive PR rule in action. Say nothing. Let the story burn without your fingerprints. It's not cowardice. It's control. William's silence achieves three things. Keeps his hands clean, allows Harry to look unstable, preserves his modern monarch image, even as the monarchy does very non-modern things. And the press? They eat it up. William is focusing on duty. William is protecting his children's future. William is above the drama. But here's the question. Is he really above it? Or is he architecting it? This isn't just a family feud. It's a birthright war.
Over the weekend has suggested it's all a PR show because things are not great behind the scenes. But I really don't pick that up, I have to say. Maybe I'm missing something, but...
Because William was raised to rule. And Harry? He was raised to support. That dynamic doesn't disappear when you hit 30, or get married, or move to Montecito. The monarchy is built on hierarchy, and Harry broke it. He chose love over lineage, independence over obligation. And that threatens everything William's life is built on. So when the time came to draw the line, William didn't flinch. He didn't say, what about Archie? He said, protect the institution. Even if that meant cutting off blood. Let's get brutally honest. For years we've been told, Harry is the emotional one. Meghan is the manipulative one. William is the stable, noble leader. But what if we've been watching the wrong villain? Let's do the receipts. Who allegedly warned Harry not to marry Meghan? William. Who was furious after the Oprah interview? William. Who ghosted his brother after the Netflix special? William. And who's standing quietly as Harry's kids get erased from history? William. Every time, silence isn't neutrality.